Trigonometry, all the students take calculus. Anybody who's in grade 11 or grade 12, they've heard this. And they knew it was all of them are positive in the first quadrant. Only the sine is positive in the second quadrant. Only the tangent is positive in the third quadrant. Only the cosine is positive in the fourth quadrant. But a lot of students, they don't know how this is derived. So let me tell you that the terminal arm is always measured in positive everywhere. It doesn't matter which quadrant you're in. But the x-axis here is positive, and the y-axis here is positive. And if you look in the second quadrant, the x-axis here is negative, and the y-axis, which goes along here, it's positive, and so on. So here, if we look at sine, cosine, and tangent, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so that's positive over positive, which is overall positive. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is positive over positive, positive. And the tangent as well is opposite over adjacent, and both of them are positive over positive. And that ends up giving you positive. Let's look in the second quadrant here. The sine theta, we're working from this angle right here. So opposite over hypotenuse. So that's positive over positive, which gives me positive. And if we look at cosine theta, cosine is adjacent, which is negative, over the hypotenuse, which we said is always positive. That gives you negative because you're dividing. And the tangent is opposite over adjacent, which is positive over negative, and that ends up giving you negative. Let's go into the third quadrant. Sine theta, cos theta, and tan theta. Sine, opposite over hypotenuse, negative over positive, gives you negative. The cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, negative over positive. So that's negative, that's positive, gives you negative. The tangent is opposite over adjacent, negative over negative gives you positive, because negative divided by negative is positive. Let's look at when your terminal arms in the fourth quadrant. Sine theta, cos theta, tangent theta. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, negative over positive, which is negative. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and that is positive over positive, which gives me positive. And the tan theta is opposite, which is opposite over adjacent, negative over positive, which gives me negative overall. So that's how we derived. All the students take calculus. All of the trig functions in the first quadrant are positive. Only the sine is positive in the second quadrant, but the other trig ratios are negative. And if you're in the third quadrant, only the tangent is positive, but the sine and the cosine are negative. And the fourth quadrant, only the cosine is positive and the sine and tan are negative. And that's how it's derived. So just in case you memorize this without knowing how it's derived, this is how we derive it. Till next time, it'll be lesson 2 on pre-calc 11 trigonometry. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.